Hello traders and investors, how are you today? Welcome to another video here at the Finance Hydra channel. My name is Nathan, it is a pleasure to see you guys around here, and today is Monday. As usual, on Mondays I share with you guys my own thoughts and insights about the market. We are going to talk about the indices, we are going to talk about some individual stocks. So I really hope you guys are going to like this video. If you are already my subscriber, remember to click on the like button because you know that I'm not going to disappoint you over here. And if you're not my subscriber, I invite you to join our community. Okay, I'm just inviting you. I'm not necessarily asking you to subscribe, but consider doing that, all right? Because our content is pretty good. Now let's see how the indices are doing. We see S&P going up 0.11, the Nasdaq 0.20, Dow Jones 0.12. It is interesting because if we analyze all the FAANGs with Tesla, Facebook plus Apple plus Amazon plus Netflix plus Google plus Microsoft plus Tesla, they are dropping 0.06%, but the Nasdaq is going up today. So this tells us that the market is going up because other stocks other than the big ones. Okay, so this is good. This is a very interesting sign because the FAANGs are not dominating today. Okay, we're going to talk about the FAANGs soon. First, let's see how the S&P is doing. The S&P is doing a sideways correction. Since this exhaustion bar over here, we have been correcting, and the EMA is supposed to work as a support level for us. It's doing a very good job so far. However, there is still a chance that the S&P might drop and lose today's low and maybe fill the gap at 43.75. Okay, this is a very realistic scenario for the index, especially considering that we are just under the EMA in the daily chart and that the bias is still bearish in the daily chart. Okay, so this is a plausible scenario. However, I don't see it dropping too much from here because even with the bearish scenario in the daily chart, the scenario is slightly more bullish than bearish in the 1 hour chart because we are doing higher highs, higher lows. Okay, this seems to be just a congestion. And in the weekly chart, we are just above the EMA in the weekly chart. The trend is still clearly bullish over here. It's 100% bullish. There is no way I'm gonna tell you guys this is a bear trend, all right? It's clearly pointing up. And we are just above a support level over here. So overall speaking, the situation seems more bullish than bearish, but we can't discard the possibility of a pullback, maybe to fill this gap over here. Okay, and the Nasdaq Index has a similar situation, but the Nasdaq already filled its gap. In the 1 hour chart, we had a classic inverted head and shoulders, and right now it's trying to reverse the trend. Today, we retested again the neckline area over here, and we did a very good reaction. This is today's first candlestick, okay, of this morning, and right now we are doing very good reaction. Yes, we are. However, I agree that in the daily chart the situation seems to be a little bit weird. It still seems to be a little bit weird because we retested the EMA and right now we are dropping again. This reaction is good. However, we must see more confirmation. Okay, if we actually break the EMA again, all right, that's fantastic. The Nasdaq Index will probably fly again. Probably we are going to retest the next resistances, and the next resistance is this black line up here. So this is gonna be great, all right? But for now, the moment is very delicate and decisive for the Nasdaq Index. I am more bullish than bearish. Okay, I think this is going to work as a support level in the 1 hour chart, and it's going to trigger a bullish pivot point in the daily chart. Okay, this what might happen on the Nasdaq Index. Okay, this is how I see the situation. Maybe the pullback will last a little bit longer. Maybe we're going to drop more. Maybe we're going to do a double bottom pattern. Okay, but I don't see the Nasdaq Index losing this red line right now. This is unthinkable to me at this moment with the information that I have right now at this moment. However, it's still a possibility, okay? Let's watch carefully today's low. If we lose today's low, then the Nasdaq will be much more weaker than we wanted, than we want, all right? But if we actually keep above the support level, okay, the odds are that we are going to break the EMA in the daily chart and do a new bullish leg. The Dow Jones Index, it seems we are having a double bottom chart pattern right now at this moment, right? One bottom, two bottom over here. So I think the situation is slightly more bullish than bearish on the Dow Jones as well. The trend is bullish. It seems we want to retest the EMA over here in the next few hours. If we do, this seems to be a flag pattern, right? It looks like a flag pattern to me. European indices are, well, they're going up like crazy over here, especially FTSE. FTSE probably is heading to the all-time high. This is how I see FTSE in the next few days or weeks. CAC is doing an important reaction. It looks like the US indices and the DAX index is dropping today. It's a little bit more bearish, and I think the risk-reward ratio is better on the DAX index, especially if we trigger this pivot point over here at this black line that I just put on the charts. Okay, this black line is a very nice pivot point for the DAX, and maybe it's going to trigger an inverted head and shoulders, just like the Nasdaq did last week. So it is looking good, okay? The situation is looking good. My Brazilian index IBOV is supposed to fly right now. We did an inverted head and shoulders over here, and this is very good news for you guys that are trading EWZ, because EWZ is also looking quite good. We also had an inverted head and shoulders over here like IBOV. It's going to follow IBOV. Right now it feels like we are doing a sideways correction to the EMA. In the daily chart, it looks like last week we found our floor down here, and right now we are trying to react. Just like US indices, if this ETF breaks the EMA in the daily chart, it's gonna be amazing. This is gonna be perfect. Probably we found a floor in the weekly chart over here. Last week it did a dragonfly doji, and this week is going to trigger this candlestick pattern. So probably we're going to fly again to the EMA in the weekly chart. So this is good. This is all good news for Brazilian index IBOV, for European markets, US markets. They all look very good right now. Even Shanghai Composite, it's doing sideways correction. Yes, but the EMA is the main point over here. So it seems all markets are speaking the same language, and this is good. I like this. Okay, I don't like when we see the markets doing speaking different languages, like the Nasdaq doing one thing, the Dow Jones doing another, European indices, I don't know, they are just crazy. Brazilian indexes, I don't know, going nowhere. So I don't like this situation, but I like when the markets, overall speaking, they are all on the same page, and this reinforces our view. Okay, so this is very good. This is not just as good as your like. Please, my friend, click on the like button, subscribe to this channel, because right now the situation is about to get interesting. Let's talk about stocks. Let's talk about the FAANGs over here. The risk-reward ratio is starting to make sense on Facebook. I really like the situation. I think Facebook is going to retest $357 again, which is, let me see in the 1 hour chart, which is this little gap over here. We have some gaps on Facebook. I think it's going to fill this one. I think, let me see in the weekly chart again. I think this was an overreaction. Facebook dropped a little bit more than usual because of the problems seen on Facebook last week, Instagram, WhatsApp, they are all taken down. But right now the situation is recovering and they are all looking good. Apple is also looking very good. If you look in the weekly chart, we just retested the 21 EMA along with the 50% retracement, and now we are bouncing back up. This is amazing. If you wanna buy Apple, now is one of the best moments ever, because the risk reward ratio is making perfect sense to you. Okay, if I were out of Apple and wanted to buy Apple right now, all right, I'm gonna buy it. Right now the market stop loss under the 50% retracement and target all-time high. This is how I see Apple. Amazon did let me see, Amazon, the risk reward ratio is very good on Amazon as well. All right, we did a triple bottom short pattern. Right now, if, let me erase the risk reward ratio study over here, if Amazon actually confirms a higher bottom than the previous bottom over here, we are going to see a pivot point on Amazon. Okay, probably we're going to break the EMA and seek the previous gaps. I still see Amazon filling this gap over here, and honestly, the more it drops, the more interesting it gets. Netflix, if you look at Netflix over here, the trend is clearly bullish. Is now a good time to buy Netflix? No, of course not, because we are too distant, we are too far from previous support levels. Okay, let's buy stocks when they are near support levels, like Amazon just did last week, like Apple just did over here. They're all close to their support levels. This is good. All right, this is very good. Now, when we see stock near resistances, near top levels, doing possible top levels, this is not interesting, all right? Because the risk reward ratio is not making too much sense. If you want to buy Netflix right now, where would be your stop loss? I mean, this makes no sense, because your stop loss must be near the previous support level. So, but the previous support level is the EMA. Okay, so it's too far away, so it's not making too much sense. So I don't like Netflix right now. Google is looking good. TradingView is quite slow today, right? It is quite slow. Google retested the EMA in the weekly chart. Now it's trying to trigger this pattern over here. Guys, what is this candlestick pattern? These two candlestick patterns. This is a piercing line candlestick pattern. Last week was a hammer, and it is at the same time a piercing line pattern. It is looking good. Google is looking bullish. Okay, it's not my favorite one. I still believe Apple, Amazon, and Facebook are looking better, at least speaking about risk reward ratio. But Google is looking good as well. Okay, it is looking very good, and it's impressive that only Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google are dropping 0.24%. This is impressive. Okay, the Nasdaq is outperforming the FAANGs right now. This is a very good sign. It feels like only Tesla is distorting the overall FAANGs, but Tesla is doing what I like to call a trap zone. Okay, it is inside a trap zone. See this red arrow I'm drawing over here, connecting all the previous bottoms? This tells us that we have a clear bullish momentum. Okay, the momentum is clearly bullish. However, it seems the $800 mark is the ceiling for Tesla. Okay, so we have bulls on area. They are squeezing the price. They are trying multiple times to break the previous resistance area, but this ceiling is very, very strong. So what's next for Tesla? If we see a breakdown from this red arrow, probably we are going to retest the previous support levels, maybe even this yellowish area over here, okay, which seems to be quite symbolic price level for Tesla. However, if we break the $800 mark, actually closing above it once for a change, I think we are going to retest the $821. This has been my target for, I don't know for how many weeks right now, but I will still insist on this idea because Tesla is bullish. All right, simple like that. NIO finally is waking up. Okay, I think this reaction on NIO is very important because it looks like we have a pennant pattern, a very gigantic pennant pattern in the weekly chart, and we are at a bottom level of this pennant. So if you want to buy NIO, man, right now is the best time ever, okay? It's the best time ever. The risk reward ratio couldn't be better for you. And the same applies for other stocks like XPEV, which is in a support level over here, doing a very good candlestick pattern in the weekly chart. Probably we are going to retest the $48 right now next, if this is a congestion as we expect. Lee is dropping today, but it's also looking quite similar to XPEV. Nvidia, it's doing some very nice reversal patterns. If you look in the 1 hour chart, it did the gap reversal ritual that I always like to mention to you guys. It did all the types of gaps, okay? Runaway, breakaway, common, exhaustion. Now it started to reverse the trend. We are doing higher highs, higher lows. Nvidia did an inverted head and shoulders over here. That's fantastic. That's phenomenal. Now Nvidia is supposed to fill all its previous gaps. It already filled the exhaustion gap over here, so I'm gonna erase it. The next target is the common gap. After that, the breakaway gap, and lastly, the runaway gap, which is quite close to the resistance at $225. That's where I see Nvidia next. Palantir is giving us a buy sign today, guys. I will be honest with you in this video, because in the 1 hour chart we have a double bottom chart pattern. In the daily chart, we just retested the support level at this gap area, filling it nicely. Right now we see a pierce line pattern. If it closes like this today, and if tomorrow it breaks today's high, it's gonna be crystal clear buy sign for us, okay? Crystal clear buy sign. AMD is looking amazing as well. I think it's looking better than Nvidia, in my humble opinion. It's quite close to the target at 108 over here, and I still believe it's going to hit there. All right, it did a pivot point over here, which was triggered nicely, so that's fantastic. Now it's doing a bottom higher than the previous bottom, also amazing. The trend is still clearly bullish. 108 is our next target on it. My friends, if you have any more stocks to share with me, I will happily analyze for you guys. Just send me on Instagram, okay? Talk to me on Instagram, because I can't keep up with the many messages I receive here on TradingView, on YouTube, on Twitter, etc. Please, my friends, follow me on Instagram, so I will analyze your stocks for you, all right? Thank you very much for your support. Remember to subscribe to this channel, click on the like button, and see you guys on Friday on our next video. Bye bye, stay safe, farewell.